So a few days ago, Sony decided that they were shutting down Bluepoint Studio, makers of the Demon Soul remake, and a company that was kind of forced into these live service trenches where Sony went to them and were like, "Can you work on a God of War live service game?" They worked on it. Sony canceled that, didn't close the studio right away, but just a year later, they did decide to close it. Well, not even like very long after the announcement that Bluepoint was being closed, Sony tweeted out a new look at Marathon to get people hyped for that game, and oh boy, did it have the exact opposite effect I think Sony anticipated here. So let's go over to the gamer and Josh Colson, who writes about this, and they say an ill-timed tweet has led Marathon catching strays after PlayStation shuttered Bluepoint. PlayStation made the bizarre decision to shut down Bluepoint this week, a studio that specializes in remakes and remasters, that hasn't released a single game since being acquired in 2021. Shortly after the Bluepoint news broke, PlayStation shared a post hyping Marathon, and now the entirely unrelated Bungie extraction shooter is catching undeserved flack for the studio shuttering. At any other time, PlayStation's Marathon tweet would have been an innocent one. It's just a friendly reminder that Marathon's launch is now only 2 weeks away, and that those who can't wait that long to dive in can take part in the server slam starting February 26th. It's supposed to continue what has been a surprising level of renewed hype for the game. Instead, it has left a bad taste in the mouth of a lot of people. PlayStation fans take their Bluepoint frustrations out on Marathon. That's evident from the replies to PlayStation's Marathon tweet. They are so dominated by angry followers voicing their frustration about Bluepoint that I'm a little surprised it hasn't been deleted. Worst of all, for Bungie and those still excited for Marathon, because the post is hyping up PlayStation's next live service game, a lot of angry replies are pinning some of Bluepoint's closure blame on the upcoming extraction shooter. I didn't buy a PlayStation for Marathon. I did for Demon Souls remake, though. Would have loved Bluepoint to do more projects like it. Just saying, the top reply reads. The Demon Souls remake was the last Bluepoint game to be released, and one that seemingly convinced PlayStation that the studio deserved to be acquired, and then shut down 5 years later. Another reply, with more than 10 times as many likes, is a little more cutting. Could you disband the Marathon team and rehire Bluepoint to make a Bloodborne remake? Thanks. It reads, some convinced themselves that years of radio silence meant the PlayStation had the studio working on a Bloodborne project. Hence yesterday's news cutting even deeper for them. Some people have been refunding their Marathon pre-orders following the Bluepoint news. You really have to scroll down quite a way to find a reply that isn't connected to Bluepoint anger. There's even evidence that people are requesting refunds for their Marathon pre-orders following the decision to shut down Bluepoint. It's understandable, but also a shame. After years of rebuilding faith in Marathon, something entirely unrelated to Bungie has undone so much of that hard work. These are tricky waters to navigate, as those who want to send PlayStation a message have an immediate way to do so, and that's by boycotting Marathon. On one hand, Marathon failing won't bring Bluepoint back, but there's an argument to be made that yet another live service failure for PlayStation will demonstrate that it probably should have backed Bluepoint rather than pumping hundreds of millions into live service games, hoping that one of them might become the next Fortnite. So, I think that the writer Josh Colson really laid it out well, and what's hitting at the heart of this controversy, and that's the fact that people don't really want another live service game. We just saw Highguard fail. We've seen many other live service games fail, launch, not do well, and get shuttered. One of them, Concord, was a PlayStation produced title, and it didn't last very long. And now I think a lot of people are worried that Marathon is going to suffer the same fate. And they needed all the positive publicity they could get, because a year ago it met to kind of lukewarm reviews from playtesters. Then they had the whole situation where Marathon stole the art of somebody and used it in the game. Eventually that was settled, but not a good look and not a good impression for a lot of people. Now people are kind of saying that they don't love the look of Marathon, but it is gaining some hype back, as the writer said, and I admit it was. But then this came out and everybody is hating on it again. So just bad planning by Sony all around. It'll be interesting to see if this really negative affects it. I mean, if it's like a undeniably great game, I doubt it will affect it, but we will see. But let me know your thoughts about this. Do you think that Marathon deserves to be catching flack? Or do you think this is really just the only way for people to vent at PlayStation using Marathon, a live service title, as a jumping off point? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, please subscribe. We have new videos coming out all the time here on the channel. Trying to get to 100 subscribers. Not a huge goal, but would be awesome to hit. So please subscribe and check out our other videos and our other channels, which include We Can Get Everything, where we cover video games in a video essay format, as well as our sports news show, which is We Can Get Sports, and our podcasting channel, Better Radio. Again, thank you so much for checking this out, and I will see you in the next one.